Welcome to Resume 101, writing tips to help make your resume perfect. Because your resume is perhaps the most important part of your job search efforts, there are some points to be considered in making this tool as effective as possible. The following suggestions will hopefully assist you in preparing your resume. One of the first steps, style. The three styles of resumes are chronological, functional, and combination of the two. The chronological resume lists jobs and duties sequentially beginning with the current or most recent position. The style focuses on your growth in a specific profession. The functional resume emphasizes professional skills. The combination of the two styles incorporate the strength of both the chronological and the functional. Length. You're encouraged to limit your resume to one page. Certainly, these can be an exception. A counselor will be happy to review your resume and help you in any way they can. Identifying information. There is no need to put the word resume anywhere on your paper. The document has been recognizable and will speak for itself. Your name, address, phone number, and email address should be placed at the top of the page. If you have a school address and another address, it is invisible to list those addresses where you might be reached. Be sure to update the address or phone number if changes occur. Objective. Ideally, each resume will specifically be prepared for each employer. Because of this, use care in how you word your career objective. If you're applying for positions in several different areas, the objective may be omitted from your resume. Education majors should replace career objective with teaching field because this is what they are certified for and it is not likely to change. Extracurricular activities. This section may be titled many different ways. What you want to emphasize is the name of the organization, leadership roles, accomplishments, and dates. Involvement activities can and should be presented in such a way to show that you can deal with others, motivate, problem solve, and achieve goals. Interest. The addition of a section on personal hobbies can provide the interviewer with helpful information. However, you should rarely delete other, more useful information to allow space for this section. At the very end of your resume, there should be a separate page with references. At some point during the hiring procedure, you will be asked to furnish your references. With few exceptions, your references will be contacted regarding your employability. To better understand the reason behind a resume and its importance, meet Angie Martin. She will help us get a better understanding of someone who actually views the resumes in order to hire an individual.
I'm Angie Martin, and I work for the Texas Corn Producers Board. We have a program where we hire a lot of tech interns to work in our office. So therefore we see a lot of resumes that vary in format, in color of paper, in font, and in all different other aspects. Some of the things that I like to see when I look at a resume is first thing is I want to be able to read it. So it needs to be in a font that's easy to read but not distracting. The second thing I like to be able to see when I look at a resume is quick contact information. So a cell phone number, an email address are critical, and they need to be at the beginning of your format so they're easy to find and easy to read. Now, as far as formats of resumes, I know there's a lot of different formats out there. It's a personal preference. As far as my personal preference, I like one that has the education listed so I know they're out of school or if they're still in school. I like to see what their major is or was. I like to know what work experience they have. I personally like it to be listed as the business and then maybe a brief description of what they did at that business. I think this is an important place that you can showcase your skills for the position or the job that you're applying for by tailoring that description to fit what that employer is looking for. I also like to see what else the applicant has been involved in. It doesn't have to be a long part of the resume, but just a brief extracurricular or civic or social organizations, that kind of tells me a little about them as a personality. And then I know some people like to list references on their resume, and some people like to have references available upon request. Personally, I like 3 references listed, just because in the ag world especially, I usually can tell from the references that are listed a little bit about the person. And in the ag world, being a smaller industry, we seem to all know each other, or at least know of each other. And so I like having those references listed on the bottom. I know room is sometimes a problem as far as having the space to list those, but I still think it's an important thing. And I think you can just list their name and maybe a contact, whether it be a phone number or an email address, and maybe just the city where they're from. I don't think you have to list their complete home address. I think just a contact for that reference is important. I think that no matter what format you choose, again, it needs to be neat. It needs to be easy to read. It can be on off-white paper or white paper. It can be on a little heavier paperweight versus regular. That's not as big of an issue to me as it just being neat, easy to read, and easy for me to find what I'm looking for that applicant. So I hope that helps you as you work on your resume.